Are you looking to get on the road to your dream career? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Mentor Select Podcast with your host, Derek Phillips. Always stay up to date on social media at Mentor Select and online at mentorselect.com. Here's your host of the Mentor Select Podcast, Derek Phillips.
Welcome to episode 35 of the Mentor Select Podcast. It's always a pleasure to have you join us. On Monday, my wife and I returned from Paris. We spent 5 days there, taking our baby moon, our last adult trip before our daughter is born in June. It was a lot of fun. That was my wife's first time visiting Europe. So it was a new experience for her, and it was just a really enjoyable experience for me to tour the beautiful city of Paris with her. We checked out all of the major landmarks, the Eiffel Tower, went to the top, we went to the Louvre, got to see the Mona Lisa, and just a long list of other beautiful sites there in Paris. If you haven't been, that certainly is a beautiful city. I would highly recommend it. Very romantic city. While we were at the Louvre Museum taking our maternity pictures, we saw a guy propose to his girlfriend. So that was really adorable. It's a very popular place where people propose to their girlfriend. That was really cool. Other than the trip, I'm preparing to set my book up for pre-sale. It'll be officially going on pre-sale in April and officially publishing in May. So stay tuned for more details on that. Also, you can check out pictures from our Paris trip on our Facebook page at Derek Phillips. And also my wife has set up a Instagram page for our daughter. You can check her out, follow her at Legacy Phillips. Today we have a fantastic interview with my friend Lia Bai. She's an author, a professional speaker, and just overall wonderful person. She gives us a lot of great insight into her journey to fulfilling her purpose in life. And those are great tips that you also can use to fulfill your purpose in life. On that note, let's get to the interview. Today, we have Lia Bai on the Mentor Select Podcast. Welcome, Lia.
Thank you very much. It's my honor to join you.
It's an honor to have you. We're glad that you're able to join us and share some of your wisdom with us.
Well, now wisdom, I would say lessons learned.
Lessons learned. All right. That works even better. Has a certain ring to it. So, Lia, on the Mentor Select Podcast, we like to get to know our guest mentors a little better. So can you tell us something that most people don't know about you? Just a fun fact.
So even I wasn't very good with singing, but I like to grab the mic and sing in front of people. Would that be good enough for you?
Yeah, that's good. So how often do you do karaoke?
Not very good. I just like the feeling under the spotlight, like a speaker. So that's probably one of my gifts.
All right. So you're a star. Cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that. My wife, she's a big fan of karaoke. She's pretty good, actually, but I suck at it.
Well, when opportunity arises, let's go to the, KTV, do some funny thing together.
Definitely. Let's do that. Well, Lia, on the Mentor Select Podcast, we like to encourage our listeners to follow their passions because we feel like that really is going to lead them to their dream career and their purpose in life. Can you tell us how you're following your passion?
Yes. And, passion cost, right? And on my journey to become a professional speaker, I did follow my passion and my dream, but it's a long, hard, and even lonely journey. Mm-hmm. But, for us come to this earth, I truly believe that we have a purpose. And in the workplace, we have a job, we have a career, and we have callings. Mm-hmm. To me, following my passion to become a professional speaker, I believe is by calling.
All right.
I have been on this journey for 10 plus years. And when my daughter was younger, was a toddler, and I had a dream to become a professional speaker. I was naive. I thought, okay, if I become a professional speaker and rich and famous, I have flexibility. So I can stay more time with my daughter, right? That was my thought. But I never, I didn't know better. And that was the hardest decision I ever made. But I had no regret because on the journey, and It was a personal development and a personal discovery. I think it made me a better speaker, at the same time, making me a better person and a better mom.
Wow. So 10 years on this journey. That's incredible. So I guess what was that initial inspiration to want to become a professional speaker?
Okay, I think back to the story. In 2008, I was a general manager of an American company called Martin Spark and Gear.
Okay.
Is a leading manufacturing in the motion transmission industry. Their headquarters is in Arlington, Texas. I was an expat, sending from the US to work in Shanghai, China, in charge for their 6 factories there. As a general manager of operations, I had a 24/7 jobs. But
Okay.
after the birth of my daughter, I was thinking, I probably would not be at this job forever. So I had a dream. I said, when my daughter started school, I want to be home for her at 3 p.m. So I had a impossible dream for a working mother. So that's why I was looking for options. And by accident, I will say right now, by calling, I bumped into the website of National Speakers Association. They have 3 statistics. I was sucked in. The first one, they said, and the top speakers can make 6-digit income. I said, ooh, I don't mind with that number, right?
Right.
Then they said, top speakers also, you spend 80% of your time doing marketing and 20% doing the actual speaking. I thought, oh, if that's the case, I spend most of the time with my daughter, then I will be on the road for 20% of the time. But you and I know better that 80% is the hardest one, right?
Yeah.
Then the last part, they said, as a speaker, you can change the world. Who doesn't want to change the world? So that was the original reason I jumped on this journey.
Okay. Yeah, that is just a rare coincidence just to stumble on the NSA website.
I think it was a calling. Everything happened for good reason. That's how I interpret that.
I like that. Yeah, I totally agree about things being a calling, and we all have a purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happens for a reason, certainly. Now, going back to pretty much how the NSA broke it down and made it seem so easy, what's been your experience on this journey of being a professional speaker?
I think it is awesome. I never regret for everything I did in the past. At the first phases was, learning the craft of speaking. When I was in Shanghai, China, and I asked people around, I say, how can I become a professional speaker? 3 person told me the same thing. Hey, join Toastmasters. So I did. In 2008,
Okay.
I joined a Shanghai Leadership Club and started my journey to better my speaking skills. However, after I returned to this state in 2009, I found out just having a good speaking skill is not enough, because Toastmaster teach you the craft of speaking, but they won't teach you the business of speaking. As
Right.
a professional speaker, you are an entrepreneur and you are the 1-person company. You need to do everything. So the second phases of my learning really is learn the hard part of speaking business. I think I went through the Speakers Academy offered by a National Speaker Association at North Texas. It was tremendous helpful. And most helpful was, I feel and learn from those successful and experienced speakers. They've been in the field for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I learn from them. I know I want to be like them because they are a group of energetic people and they are lifetime learner. That's who I am.
Yeah.
I found my group.
Found your tribe, certainly. Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of being a professional speaker, what audience do you typically speak to and what do you speak about?
At this point, I focused on group global leaders who are non-native English-speaking speakers. And I found out the world has become smaller and global companies are trying to do business. They have employees all over the world, and also they have customers and suppliers. One of the biggest challenges for them is the effective communication, cross-functional and cross-culture. So I want to target the global leaders who can really need my help to better their communication skills so they can improve diversity, productivity, and the profitability for their companies. That sounds like a commercial.
You have it down. I like that. You named your target demographic.
It took me a while to figure out my niche because, you and I have been in the workforce for so many years, right?
Yeah.
I can talk about marketing, I can talk about leadership, I can talk about anything, but you want to talk about what matters to your audience and what thing you are passionate about. For me, I'm a non-native speaker. It took me years to try to improve my English. It's like if someone try to lose weight, they want to look at someone who used to be 400 pounds. Now they are down to 80 pounds, right? So I think I'm a living example for what I'm talking. So that's why I believe this is current in my niche market.
Okay, awesome. So regarding non-native speakers, so did you grow up in China?
Yes.
Okay. So how long have you lived in the United States?
Oh, long enough. I came here in 1989 as a foreign student, and I often joked, and I used to be a foreign student who spoke broken English.
Mm-hmm.
So after living and working here in the US for more than 20 years, I managed to learn Texas English.
You have to live in Texas to get that one, certainly.
Learn how to say yeah.
Different English. Y'all and yeah.
Yeah, people here are awesome. Yes, I love it.
That's great. So I know a lot of times with non-native English speakers, when they come to the U.S., they have trouble dealing with just trying to, I guess, overcoming the accent and really just having that confidence to speak English. How did you gain that confidence?
Confidence came from practice.
Okay.
In my circle of friends, Chinese, Asians, and there are a lot of people in the IT engineer field, and most of them are working behind the desk, dealing with coding and the computer. So their job do not challenge them to really stand up and speak in front of the audience. But if they want to really grow their career and try to even reach the corner office, they have to make the effort to better their communication skills. So that's why my topic, and also, as you know, my most recent book, Lamps, is focusing on how can you better your communication skills.
I had opportunity. I've traveled a lot, been to 32 countries, but I lived in Germany for 2 years. That was my first experience to living abroad. And when I was trying to learn German, I learned a lot of words, but I noticed the hardest part was just me having the confidence to not be fearful to speak it to the locals. And
exactly.
People who don't speak another language, they take that for granted, especially Americans. It's so hard to speak another language. So that it really does take great confidence. And I admire anyone who can speak more than one language.
And on that part, I think there are stages you have to go through. In my book, in one of the chapters, I'm talking about a full stage of learning. And I didn't create it, that someone else did, which was, at the first stage is unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Then you make mistakes, a lot of, mistakes, and learn by trying them, then you become the master of what you're doing. But if you never really allow yourself to make mistakes and learn, like we did at Toastmasters, you can never better yourself. It's an attitude and action. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree. And I've come from a IT cybersecurity background as well. And like you said, a lot of times they don't have to interact with other people in terms of communicating. So they lack those communication skills. But if in any profession, if you want to advance and be a leader, you have to have good communication skills, strong communication skills.
Right.
Certainly making a difference by helping those executives develop those skills and hone them.
Yeah, and actually in my book, I talk about starting from inside, because the confidence comes from inside. Even you speak English with a foreign accent, but you have to believe, your foreign accent represents you speak 2 languages, right?
Right.
You know something other people don't know. You might have this special connection with a unique market, and the culture. So as long as the people understand you in the workplace, you are not a Shakespeare, you are not a writer, just have the confidence to speak up. You have something meaningful to share with the world. So that's the attitude, the mental side. Then we talk about the skill side. And join Toastmaster, that's one of the easiest way you can do here in the US, right?
Exactly. So you mentioned your book. What's the name of it again?
It's called LAMPS, LAMPS, is the acronym of 5 communication strategies.
And what are those strategies?
To make the long story short, L stands for love who you are. A is ask for help. M is make mistakes. And P is play your cards.
Okay.
Talking about the leadership cards you have to have in order to be successful in the workplace. The last one is S. I change for depends on the audience. If it's all non-native speakers, I teach them how to reduce the accent. So the last S is speak like a singer. That came from my karaoke junkie background.
Okay.
Because singing can help you to reduce your accent.
That's a good strategy, certainly.
Yeah, something easy for the audience to remember. And because you're talking about strategies, everyone talks about strategies, right? Communication, nothing unique. So to have the name easy for the audience to remember and also the steps to follow. So I came up with the acronym LAMPS. And actually, the acronym was, I will have to credit to one of my mentors from NSA, Sandy. She was my mentor when I was at the academy with NSA.
Okay. Was this your first book?
First ever book. Took me 5 years to write it.
Congratulations. Eh?
Oh
Better late than never. That's a remarkable accomplishment.
Yeah. It was a milestone, and people ask me, hey, Lia, do you have any plan to sell your book? I said, not really, because to me, it's a milestone for my 10 years journey, want to become a professional speaker. The book give you one of the easy ways to say, here's my credibility as the talker of my subject, right?
Right. Yeah, certainly as a speaker, it gives you a lot of credibility. And I had the opportunity to sit in on one of your LAMPS presentations. And
yes, I forgot, my friend.
I was amazed by it. It really was remarkable. So I can tell you put a lot of research and thought and just tied in your experience into the book. So it's excellent. Very proud of you.
And I just on top of the book, and I recently released the ebook version of LAMPS. And because I know that my audience, a lot of them are outside the US, especially in China, my home country. And I recently, during my China trip in October, I gave the same talk, LAMPS, at one of the local Toastmaster clubs. The audience, young professionals in China, average age 25, right? Very young. I feel like a grandma there. They want my book, but Amazon would not ship, paperback to China.
Oh, wow.
So I told them I'm going to make the ebook happen so they can download from the internet. And I'm going to make a promotion, around Christmas. So I make the price affordable to the Chinese market.
Wow. That is great. Great.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So people in the United States, where can they purchase your book?
Amazon.com.
Amazon. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. And then internationally, it'd be available via your ebook promotion, right?
Ebooks, yeah. They have the paperback in other markets like Japan and Germany. But I think the majority of my audience probably will be in China. Unfortunately, China do not support Amazon.com paper book.
Okay. So you reached that milestone of writing a book. What other professional milestones do you have left that you'd like to share with us or that you're working on?
The next step for me is to make an audiobook. Okay. And you and I know that when you speak, you can be a little bit slobby and, you probably don't pronounce everything right. Grammar cannot Definitely be perfect, which is fine, right? But if you read a book, it's a little bit different story. And you have to be very precise on everything you say and follow the books. And the written language on book is different than spoken language. So my next project is to produce the audiobook for my LAMPS with the help from my voice coach, Phyllis. She's mentioned in my book. And we've been friends for more than 2 decades. Okay. And she's a native speaker and a speech pathologist. So I have the right person next to me. And I'm excited for that project.
All right. Yeah, I'm a big fan of audiobooks. I love listening to audiobooks when I'm driving, working out, or doing anything. So
yeah. And also one of the reasons I'm doing that, a lot of time the authors, hire the professional voiceover artists to do the books for them.
Right.
But I think for the purpose of this book, I am trying to teach my audience the courage of being imperfect. Yes. Right. So I want to show them example. Yes. And Lia can do it and you can do it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And the audience, the listeners are going to connect more with hearing the author read it versus just a hired person.
Right. So I'm excited for that project.
I'm excited for you. I'll definitely add it to my Audible collection once you get it done.
Oh, my friend, I'm going to also send you my Christmas promotion about my paperbacks. And you can forward to your friends who have the needs. I want to share a very touching story. Joe Pai. from our Toastmaster club.
Yes, she's remarkable. I love Joe.
She and her husband moved away to be, closer to their daughter and
Right.
daughter's family.
Yep.
And she read my book, and she gave me very good, positive, feedback. Like, Lia, every page is easy and a powerful read. Then even better, her husband, he is not a Toastmaster, but he always, come to Toastmaster meeting with his wife, right?
Right.
He read my book, and he ordered 5 books from me, and having me sign the books. And he's going to give the books to his Chinese coworkers as Christmas gifts.
Oh, wow.
I was very touched by that, support. To me, I'm not expecting to become a millionaire by selling my books, but this kind of support, I really, appreciate that.
Yeah, it's well deserved. That's remarkable.
Yes, I think, you and I be friends with our Toastmaster friends and learn from the experienced speakers from NSA. We are in the right crowd.
Certainly. So other than coaching executives, communication skills, do you work with any other groups?
It's funny you ask. And I have a small program called the Speech Fund. I teach young kids in DFW area, help them to build their confidence in public speaking, so they will become an awesome leader in the future.
Wow.
I've been doing that for probably more than 8 years.
Wow.
You saw my picture, right? I put on the Facebook.
Yeah, I did, with you and the kids. That certainly touches my heart. And I know I didn't really get comfortable with public speaking until within the last 2 years. So I can only imagine if I had that type of program as a child, just how far I may be now, just having much more confidence and communication skills, developing at an early age. Oh, wow, that's a huge competitive advantage.
Yeah, I think, think about this, when you were younger and learned to ride a bicycle, half day, 2 days maximum, you can learn how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
But once you become an adult, how long will it take you to have the courage to get on the bike, right?
A lot longer.
So you are right. I think, and if the parents recognize the importance, I think they are. And I will have a very, solid business base.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's a huge, huge need. And it can just help kids in so many different areas of their life if they are effective, confident communicators. I love that.
Yeah, and helping children is very different than helping adults. In corporation, America, it's pretty easy to teach people the basic, like say, hey, eat broccoli, right? They know it's not easy, but they bite the bullets and they eat anyway. For kids, if it's boring, broccoli, no, they don't want it. So the way I found out by teaching in the past 8 years is I have to make a broccoli smoothie, adding chocolate and candies and apples, feed them a smoothie. So my kids are having fun at my program.
Okay, awesome. So you say you've been doing it for over 8 years now.
Since 2010.
Just a rough estimate. How many kids have gone through your program so far?
I think more than 100 kids, and some of them are in colleges now.
Oh, wow. Do you have any success stories you'd like to share?
It was funny. And this coming Saturday, the December 15th, I am going to do a small keynote in front of a group of Chinese parents and some kids. It's a kind of Christmas party, very informal. And in this program, I'm going to introduce one of my students.
Wow.
His name is Alex. And when he first came to my class, he was only 7 years old and second grader. This boy had no voice. I mean, physically. He would start a sentence. By the end of the first sentence, his voice disappeared.
Oh, wow.
At the beginning, I thought maybe he has some vocal challenge, physically. So I talked to his parents and they said, no. Then gradually I found out when we were playing games, I play a lot of games inside the class, to teach kids how to loosen up, right? And I found this boy had a normal voice. His voice was a little bit unique, kind of harsh, like a grandpa type of voice, but his volume was decent.
Okay.
So we encourage him. After 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, he got it. And even better, most recently, during the summer of 2018, DFW Youth English Speech Contest, he competed, speech contest, and he was the first place winner for his group.
Oh, wow.
I think, the beauty for this kind of progress for the little boys, he said, yeah, I was unique. I had no voice, but I did it. That confidence will do him a wonder long term.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You can't put a price on that. And you mentioned about really helping him find his voice. Can you tell us more about just how important it is for people to find their own voice and express it?
Everyone has a voice. I don't know if you remember the movie clip I played for the King's speech, when the
Yeah.
king was
Yeah. I
having a
remember.
conversation with his, speech pathologist,
Right.
and they had a conversation, and then his coach was sitting on his chair. He said, "You are not supposed to sit on there, right?" Coach said, "Why not?" King said, "Because I have a voice." The coach said, "Yes, you have a voice. You just have to find it." So the same logic is everyone has a voice. Everyone, young and old, has a voice. You just have to really think deep. What is that voice inside you? And you need to find a way to release yourself. Give yourself permission, the courage to speak up. Then give yourself the effort, invest your time and the effort to speak better. Then the last step is, as you're getting mature, especially for children and at a workplace, and knowing your subject, speak to make an impact. So 3 steps: speak up, speak well, and speak to make impact. Then you can become an effective communicator. Then you can find your voice.
Yeah, I love that. And it ties back into the purpose. A big part of a lot of times when people who are afraid to speak up is because
Mhm.
of just the fear they're worried about. They may look stupid or may sound stupid or what people are going to think about them. But once
Mhm.
they realize that their voice and their story, someone else needs to hear that to get through whatever
Mhm.
they're going through, or then that's when it really puts everything into perspective. And it's no
Yeah.
longer about yourself.
Yeah.
It's about who's the audience.
And I want to share with you another story. And sometimes, we said one speech at a time, changing the world sounds very abstractive, but
Mhm.
indeed it is. As a speaker, we are gifted with a voice. We can use our voice to change the world. Most recently, I probably haven't shared with you yet, I resigned from JP Morgan Chase. I served
Wow.
for 5 years.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I
I
just
know
want
you
to
were
spend more
working
time.
on it, but yeah,
I know I'm working on
congratulations.
that, but not because I'm rich and famous, but I told myself it's about time for me to make the decision to spend more time with my child. She's 13, a very
Yeah,
critical years.
can't
I
get
want
those
to
years
be
back.
there for her. Right. So I forced myself to fulfill my dream that happened 10 years ago, be home for her at 3 p.m. by quitting my job. On the last day, which was November 20th, I did a keynote inside the JP Morgan Chase that was sponsored by Toastmaster Club within the company.
Okay.
After my keynote, it was same subject, how to find your voice at a global workplace. One of the audience in his late 40 and early 50 came to me after everyone left. He said, "Lia, I came from outside the US. We were kind of person, almost like Asian people, rarely show our emotions, right? But he said, your speech touched my heart.
Wow.
And you talked about your daughter." And he said, "I had a daughter and my wife was not very well. I work so hard and very smart, but I feel like I owe them something. After your speech, I'm going to do something to really fulfill what's more important to me for my life." That
Wow.
wasn't exactly the words he told to me, but to me as a speaker, I was touched by his words, because we are there to change people's life so they
Yep.
can live better, work better. We are changing the world around us if we cannot change the world.
Certainly. Love that story. And going back to one of your previous students, Alex, you certainly changed his world. You changed his life through your program and gave him his voice. And now he's doing what I'm sure he never imagined he would be able to do, competing in contests. And I'm sure he has a lot more confidence and leadership skills. I say that's the power that we have as speakers, or anyone who's willing to serve others and use their gifts, their purpose to impact people's lives. It's a great
Yeah, and
spices.
yeah, yeah, and also by teaching kids, the kids, they teach you everything, and they are very creative, and they are different than adults.
Yeah.
Adults is easy to teach, hard for them to change, right? For
Right.
kids, it's hard to teach, is a labor of love, but they will change the next day for you.
Gotcha. I like that. So what do you find most rewarding about, especially working with kids and through your program, Speech for Fun? What do you find most rewarding about it?
I think it's just by see their improvement. I always say kids are like a clay. You make the ceramics, you mold them whatever you want it, and they show that they stable themselves like that way. It's you're building the foundation. And for my talk coming this Saturday, we were talking about parenting. I said, as parents, we want to build this strong foundation for our children so they will be successful long term. And for us, for me as a teacher, I'm helping our parents to build strong wins for our children. Communication is one of the elements in your strong wins, so they can fly high and far away when they grow up.
Yeah,
that's my rewarding as a teacher.
Wow, pretty rewarding, certainly. That is great. Love it, love it, love it. Well, Lia, you've been great giving us a lot of good advice. And I love the stories you're sharing. You're a remarkable storyteller. And that's part of the skill set of a professional speaker.
You're welcome.
Before I let you go, do you have any parting words of advice that you'll give to the listeners? And especially any non-native speaking listeners, I'm sure they really can relate the most to your remarkable story.
Well, I would say it's a journey. And if you want to be successful at work and in life, communication skills are one of the toolkits you have to have. And don't be shy if you speak English with a foreign accent, because everyone has accent, even including our dear friends in Texas, right?
Especially the Texans.
Yeah. And have the courage, invest your time and effort and even money to better yourself. And you will become a better speaker next week, next month, and the next year. And you will show the result. I want to end this talk with one story. And actually, I just told you I left JP Morgan Chase. I worked at the bank for 5 years as a banker. And to me, that job was, I feel like a Cinderella, trapped in a pumpkin. Bankers do not make a lot of money. And I was there for the balance of work. But one thing I learned from this job is I had the opportunity to interact with all kinds of customers, young, rich, poor, old, everything. And when you interact with the human being like that way, you gain a perspective about life, and you will be more appreciative of what you have, and you have compassion for people who were charged for insufficient fund fees, right?
Okay.
And at the same time, 5 years, 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week, tremendous opportunity for me to practice my English conversation skills. That was a plus. Yeah. So recently, when I sent my audiobook sample to my coach, Phyllis, she said, Lia, you have changed a lot in the way you're speaking and the way you pronounce everything. God has planned for you, and just, believe who you are. You have a purpose on this earth. Follow your dream, follow your passion. You will reach your destiny.
Wow. That's a great way to close it out.
We always like to end with stories, right?
Gotta end strong, certainly.
Thank you for the opportunity. Derek, you're a role model to me as well.
Thank you. You're a role model to me as well, especially with the book. I'm working on mine now, so you're certainly inspiring me to do more. Before we let you go, how can people get in contact with you, Lia? And especially, I know you mentioned your book is on Amazon, but yeah.
The book is under LAMPS, Lamps, by Lia Bai. If you type that Amazon.com, it will come up. And if you need to find me, the easiest way is to go to my website at www.liabaispeaks.com.
Okay.
And also, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, right? Lia Bai.
All right, great. So yeah, I'll make sure I include all that information on the show notes. Other than that, I can't thank you enough, and certainly wish you the best. I have to have you back on the show later. I'm sure you to tell us about your new adventures and accomplishments. I'm sure you have many more milestones and many more lives you're going to impact with what you're doing by following your purpose. Congratulations, and thank you, Lia.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
That was an awesome interview with my friend Lia Bai. Be sure to check out her book, Lamps. It's on Amazon. It really is a phenomenal book. Also, be sure to reach out to Lia via LinkedIn or Facebook, Instagram, to let her know what resonated with you about this interview. And she's always willing to just give you advice, support, and mentorship. If you haven't liked, subscribed, or rated the Mentor Select podcast on iTunes or Google Play, Spotify, whatever podcast platform you listen to Mentor Select, please do so. We're always looking to grow the Mentor Select community and help more people have access to virtual mentorship. Well, I'll be back next week with another interview from a guest mentor. Be sure to tune in.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mentor Select podcast, helping you identify and follow your passions. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit mentorselect.com and Mentor Select on social media. If you enjoyed today's episode, please rate and review. We'll catch you next time.